Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Witch of Bees and Bones. This is probably going to be a fairly short video. I say that, and then I'll probably ramble on for a number of minutes. I just wanted to come on and say Elijah just came in the room. That's not why I came here, but that's the situation. And everything must stop when she enters the room. So anyway, sorry about that. I'm back. These are pretty trying times, and I feel like things are currently in an energetic shitstorm, and that folks are really struggling. There just seems to be a lot going on for a lot of people. And if I'm seeing that in my life, other people are probably seeing it in theirs, both for themselves and their loved ones and people they know, and et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about self-care. And I know that that's a buzz term and everybody talks about it, but I feel like self-care is deeply important. I think it's even more important when you are dealing with other people's energies. If you're a healer, or if you're a medium, or if you're a card reader, or if you're a witch, or if you do body work with folks, or if you do Reiki, or anything really. The energy right now is really heavy, and it's interesting because there's good things happening, but it's still just like a damp blanket, or at least that's how it feels some of the time. And I think we fall into the trap of thinking that we should be able to talk ourselves out of this, or think our way out of it, or just really fix it or snap out of it. And though it's not great to set up shop, so to speak, in this arena, it is okay to acknowledge that you're having a rough time. Or that things just maybe aren't as stellar as you wish they were. My dad had this great saying, as a compassionate person, I often look at situations and would say, oh, well, whatever is going on with me, it's not as bad as X, Y, and Z. And he said, Victoria, if you were in a hospital room and the person next to you has 2 broken legs, and you have 1 broken leg, you still have a broken leg. Meaning that somebody may have it, quote, worse, but that doesn't mean that you don't have things going on that you need to acknowledge and work on, or take a break from. And when you're a person who is I'm going to use the word intense, or passionate, or we'll go with those for now. You feel a lot of things, and you think a lot of things, and it become overwhelming. And so taking the time you can to take care, to be mindful, and to be gentle with ourselves. Have the cup of tea, have the cup of coffee if it doesn't stress you out. I've been thinking a lot about coffee lately, and I'm almost to the point where I'm willing to take the chance of the anxiety because I miss it so much. And then I think about how shitty that anxiety feels, and I'm like, I don't really need more of that in my life, so we'll put a pin in that. But I do miss coffee every day. So if you can drink coffee and you want to have a cup of coffee, knock yourself out. If you want to take a bath, if you want to take a shower, if you want to take a walk, whatever it is, where we can find those moments to be kind and gentle with ourselves, I think it allows us to have grace with others, but grace starts here with us. And I recently had a friend who, not just really a friend, but a loved one, a person I love and respect and value very much. And she had reached out. We talk every few days, and she had messaged me and asked me to talk about my take on Grace on the channel. And I wasn't sure I was going to do that, but I guess I am. Grace was very important to my dad, and though he never termed it this way, my dad was very much a do no harm but take no shit kind of person. So to him, being graceful spoke to your character. And my being graceful in situations was really important to him, and thus has become important to me. I've had moments where I was not graceful, really not graceful, and I can remember each of them vividly and how shitty they made me feel. And so I always strive to behave gracefully, even in really tough situations. And for me, that is a point of pride, and not the ego kind of pride, but the kind of person I want to be pride. Not like, look how wonderful I am. Don't mean it like that at all. It's just one of my characteristics that I am proud of, because there is a part, I think, of everyone's head who thinks unkind thoughts, or when they get irritated, they want to lash out, or they want to, they have a petulant streak, or, I don't want to talk to violence. That's not what I'm talking about. But, when people, act out and behave poorly, so to speak. And I can't say I've never done it, because I certainly have, but I try not to, and the more I behave well, the less I want to behave poorly. Grace is intrinsic to my practice, both as a witch and as a human, because we're all going through something. Everyone is going through something. Or has gone through something, or will go through something. And I just find that it's easier to be kind and to be graceful. And if somebody's being really shitty, I'm not saying stand there and take it, but lashing out doesn't often help. So sometimes just, being like, okay, I see what you're trying to say, and then walking away. There's a million different situations. And I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their own life. But for me, trying to be gentle with people and trying to be graceful, and then learning more recently how to be graceful with myself, that's a bit more of a learning curve, which goes back to the taking care of ourselves and being kind to ourselves. And I just feel that if we took a breath, or a pause, or put a pin in a conversation sometimes before returning to it, we can be more graceful. And in saying that, I think the same can be said for our practice. I love to pull cards every day. It's important to me to journal, to pull my cards, to do my rituals. Some days that's not possible, and I tend to kind of get a little bit up in my head about it, and like, oh, I should do this, and I should do that, and I should have made time, or I should, whatever it is. And sometimes we just can't, but that doesn't make us that doesn't make our practice less significant or important. That doesn't make, for those of however you identify, I never want to call somebody a witch that doesn't identify that way. I know that it's a tough word for some people, but I'm not less of a witch because I didn't pull cards until later today because I had to get out of the house early this morning. It's just the way it is. And I try to be very mindful in all of the things I do and all of my interactions. And that, again, circles back to my practice of being mindful and thoughtful and present in the things I do, I think it's very easy to get into the habit of not being mindful, but just being habitual. Because, I mean, this bitch loves a habit. This bitch loves a schedule. But I want to be mindful in the things that I do. And part of that is grace. And the grace for myself of like, okay, if I can't be mindful right now, I'll pull cards later. Or I'll pull cards tomorrow. Or if I've got too much going on, I need to be like, that's okay. So whatever your practice is, however your practice is, just try to be really present with it and be graceful with it and welcome the changes that occur when we do open our minds to things. Because if we're too focused on the habitual part of it, new things that are trying to come into our practice may not be able to do that. Or we may not see them, or we may not recognize them. So, stay open to the things that happen. I think there are times when we love a deck and we use it all the time, and then a deck stops resonating with us, but we continue to use it because we love the deck. And I've had decks like that, and it's like, but it stops speaking to me, and I clear it and I do all the things, and it still just isn't working. And I'm like, oh, I'm being habitual about this. All right, I'm going to clear this deck. I'm going to put it on the shelf. I'm going to try a new deck and have some, breathe some new life into things. And that's been really rewarding at times. And so I think that that's important to remember, and a fun thing to do. I know that we're kind of in a consumerism world of, new things and more things. And I, compared to some, I don't have a ton of decks. Compared to others, I probably have a fair amount. But it's nice to bring some of the old ones back. It's nice to try some new ones, and to just really experience things with an open mind, and to take the time to get to know the deck and yourself through the deck in a different way and through a different perspective. So again, this has been kind of rambly. So again, the basis of this is be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, be graceful with yourself, and be open to the possibility of new and different things, and maybe switching things up. So I hope that's helpful. Again, I know I've said this the last few videos. I do have a couple things coming up. They're going to be more structured videos, but this was just on my mind today because I've got some friends that are just really kind of going through it. And though I'm doing just fine, this is again, we're trying to come out of winter here, and we just got more snow last night and rain today, and it's just kind of shitty outside. And I'm trying to, be open to the possibilities of whatever Mother Nature chooses, and be respectful of that. It's just a little taxing, because I was doing some yard work yesterday, and now my yard is covered with snow again, and it makes me sad, to be honest. So I appreciate all of you so very much, and I'll be back with you very soon. Next week I've got good stuff. The videos I've talked about will be coming out next week. So, and then the week after that I'm going to be away. So, I may pre-film some stuff. I may film some stuff when I'm in New York. I'm not really sure. So if you don't see me for the week after this coming, fear not, I'm fine. I'm just enjoying myself, which I'm looking very forward to. I'm going to be spending time with one of my favorite humans and 3 of my favorite creatures. So and seeing beautiful art. So I'm deeply excited about that. So be well. I appreciate all of you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.